The next work is mechanical parts, which is also, yeah, I guess 4 years at this point. Mechanical parts is a series of graphic connectors created by RoboFaber, an autonomous drawing robot determined to reproduce. And the core idea was basically, when I built the robot, it was literally one of my first electronics, well, that's not true, but like the first, let's just say it was the first robot I built. So I was thinking at the time what I would do or what I would want if I was like the first of my kind. And I basically came to the conclusion that I would want to reproduce and like have more robots to hang out with. So mechanical parts is basically a series of robot genitalia drawings or reproductive parts. And visually, I really try to go for like something that lives like in between like organic and basically between like the genitalia of like a animal or human and USB stick on the other side, which is kind of like, you know, if you have like connectors, you usually have like the expression is very common to have like male and female plugs. So I tried to make the drawings, I wanted them to live in a space between that. So some of them look a little bit more organic than other ones, and some of them look clearly, you know, technical. And in terms of gender, a lot of them are male and female, but I also have some that are kind of like ambiguous. So for instance, like the hairy ones, I wasn't really entirely sure how they work, but I had in mind that they kind of just connect like fuzzy hair and work their magic that way. And some of them also have both. So I really tried to have like, to not limit it to male and female. And I guess maybe one thing about the name of the robot, which nobody in America ever asked me about the name. But I really, it's basically just the translation from like Homo faber, which is kind of like the creating human to like a robot, and Homo faber was also is still one of my favorite books. So yeah, that's basically where a lot of the inspiration for that project came from. Here's another stock photo. In the mainstream perception, surprise and technology don't really go all that well together. Today's technologies are usually considered to be tools that fulfill one specific task, and they're very practical. And in that context, surprise is usually a blemish because it means that the technology is either not working as expected, and surprise usually signals a malfunction, an error, or maybe even a human that is like too stupid to operate the technology. And because of that, the relationship between technology and humanity has somewhat of a binary nature. Perfection and speed are usually attributes reserved for technology. That's another stock photo, by the way. While emotionality, propensity for error, and imperfection, as well as creativity, are usually attributes that are commonly perceived as like genuinely human. And I think that it's kind of true for all of my works, but I think that RoboFaber is kind of like the poster child for that. I'm interested in the gray area between those two poles. What happens when technology becomes more human, fails, and learns, etc. And maybe in the future I'm going to make projects that explore it the other way around, what happens when humans become perfect. I don't think I'll do that.